Hi, YouTube. So I had a comment from a viewer who wanted some tips on Orcust, so I figured I'd take the opportunity to go over the deck list that I used to get to Platinum 1 this season. So I guess I'll just go over the card by card. So we got 2 Effect Veiler, 1 Orcust Brass Bombard, 3 Maxi, 3 Scrap Recycler, 3 Ash Blossom, 2 Symbol Skeleton, 1 Armageddon Knight, 1 Dark Grepher, 1 Harporer, 1 Gearsu Orcust Mech Knight, 2 Link Slayer, 3 Nightmare, and 2 World Wand, and 1 Nibiru. For spells, we have 1 Raigeki, 1 Heartbeast Featherduster, 1 Reborn, 1 Foolish Burial, 1 Rhoda, 1 Terraforming, 2 Orchestrated Return, 1 Babel, 2 Call by the Grave, 2 Forbidden Droplet, and for traps we just have 1 Solemn Judgment and 2 Orcust Crescendo. For the extra deck, 1 Borreload Savage Dragon, 2 Dingirsu Orcust Evening Star, 1 Halki Fibrax, 1 Nightmare Phoenix, 1 Galatea, 1 IP Masquerena, 1 Barricade Board Blocker, 1 Nightmare Unicorn, 1 Long Gearsu, 1 BLS Super Soldier, Topologic Bomber Dragon, Borosaur Dragon, Crusadia Avramax, and Access Code Talker. So to go over some specific decisions that may have been different from other Orcust lists. So I'm not running, the only other supplemental engine I guess I'm running are just the Scrap Cyclers, Armageddon Knight, Grepher. I'm not running any of the Phantom Knights. I'm not running any Dangers. I was running Dangers before, but the problem with the Dangers is there's a lot of situations where they don't help your hand unless you hit. Like, unless you specifically hit an Orcust card. So, like, if that's why I don't really like them that much. Plus, they're very easy to, like, they're easy bait to for maxis. Additionally, there's like cards where you necessarily don't want to, like, mainly just Call by the Grave. Like, Call by the Grave and your other hand traps, like the Dangers conflict with that. So I think if you want to play Dangers, then you can consider running other cards where, like, they benefit from being discarded, or at least like benefit from being in the grave. Like, so maybe if you run Phantom Knights with the Dangers, then that would be a good idea. What else? I'm not playing the Lightning Storm just because I don't want to have the restriction of, like, not controlling any face-up cards. Because most likely in Orcust, like, you're gonna most likely always have the field spell unless your opponent gets rid of it. So, like, with that, I don't really want to have the restriction of, like, drawing into a Lightning Storm late game and not being able to use it. So I have to play Link Slayer because essentially it's just a Twin Twister that can attack if you control no monsters, you can special summon this card from your hand. So even if you open a turn 1, you can still play it. And then once per turn, you discard 2 cards and target that many spell traps on the field and destroy them. So there are times where, like, I think I can only recall one time where I didn't, like, have, like, I opened a hand that was just like Link Slayer, Double Nightmare, Crescendo, and, like, maybe like another dead card like Wand or something, or Raigeki or Harpies Featherduster. So that was a hand where I was just like, okay, I have to summon Link Slayer, set the Crescendo, or set the Raigeki or whatever, and then discard my Orcust Nightmare to pop the Raigeki in order to get a play. Not necessarily the best outcome, but it's something, like, if you have to do in a pinch, or if you feel like you have to do in a pinch, then that option's there. For the extra deck is, I'm running 2 Symbol Skeleton, mainly because with the Orcust grind game, sometimes it can be hard to, like, recycle all your resources. Like, especially, like, if you don't know how the way the turn's gonna play out, like, you may have returned something else that you should have returned instead of another card, with Galatea or Longirsu or something like that. So I like running 2 Skeleton just to have the flexibility of, like, okay, like, if I can get 1 in rotation, if I manage to, like, not be able to recycle one of the skeletons at the right time, then like if I already have a nightmare or the harpoon in rotation, then the skeleton could be used there. Um, I'm really back and forth on Brass Bombard being in the deck. It would be a lot easier to play Brass Bombard if I had a Link Karibo, but I don't. And at this point, because I'm already plat 1, I don't really feel like crafting a Link Karibo. But ideally, like, Brass Bombard, if you open Brass Bombard and, like, almost any other Orcust, then that's also your full combo, because you could just normal summon the Brass Bombard, go into Link Karibo, and then banish the Brass Bombard to summon your other card. But that's kind of also why I have Hulky Fibrax, is just so, like, just as another way to extend the play, since Hulk can summon Brass Bombard from the deck. That hasn't really come up, though, but the thing with Orcust and Master Duel is that I'm not really sure what the best extra deck is, because if there aren't a lot of good options anymore, like, you really have a lot of space because Galatea is only at 1. Otherwise you would just run, like, in my opinion, you would just run as many Galateas as you can to fill in the space. But ideally, like, I probably would cut Helgi Firebrax going forward. I would also cut BLS. Realistically, this card should be something like one of the other Topologics. Topologic, either Zero Boros or Chisbana. Just because Eldritch is still being played, and that deck loses a lot harder to either one of these than like to anything else here. So ideally, this BLS would be either one of these. If it were up to me, I would say Chisbana, but Zero Boros is a lot more of a sacky card. It also works a lot better with Gizmek Orochi if you choose to play Orochi. But I'm not playing Orochi in this version because I don't feel like the meta is a bit different in Master Duel compared to when the deck was at its prime in TCG. So I don't think Orochi is necessary, but Orochi does synergize very well with the deck since you can mill it off Nightmare. You can mill it off Nightmare or Recycler anyway, so it's a free extender. What else? Oh, Borlo Savage is also in here, but I've never gotten into this card. But there is a scenario where like you either have like a Brass Bombard and a Orcust Nightmare, or you have Girsu as a tuner and another level 4, and you can make Savage Dragon, but that's never come up. So I would cut Borlo Savage as well. But what would I run in favor? That's a very good question. Let's just take a look. Because I feel like, because there aren't that many good options in terms of like monsters. Like, you could make Abomination, like that's somewhat decent, just being able to pop some cards. If you're running the Phantom Knight package, then you can obviously run Bardiche. I mean, other than that, there isn't really that many good options in terms of like Dark Link monsters anyway. Which, like, I'm only really looking at because of the Orcust restriction that locks you into darks. Realistically, if when we get something like Dragoon or DP, then Anaconda would be very good. Like I said earlier, Link Rebo would be good if you are playing Brass Bombard. But if not, Link Rebo is just kind of useless, so I wouldn't really recommend it unless you're playing Brass Bombard. Oops. Yeah, that's all I can really think of to talk about in terms of this deck. Oh, I guess the 2 Wand is very weird, I guess, because in TCG, like, Wand was only a 1 of at most. But I guess one thing that I never really considered a lot when I was playing it in the TCG is that the Wand's first effect, if this card is sent to the graveyard, especially summon a World Legacy monster from your hand. So even if you open like one of your wands, like, because in the normal combo you would mill the wand with Orcust Nightmare anyway, like almost 9 times out of 10 you'll do that. So even if you open the wand, then like that's fine because you can extend into the wand acts as an extender. So then usually you end up with like Galatea plus IP, and then whichever like Orcust card, like Babel or Crescendo, whichever you choose to get. And then during your opponent's turn, you can use IP and Galatea to go into Avermax, which is a pretty difficult card to deal with in Master Duel right now. Avermax is something that you could also cut as well, just because Avermax is light, it conflicts. Like you won't be summoning it every duel, but there are certain matchups where if you summon it, then your opponent can't really deal with it, so it's kind of like an auto win. Oh, I probably would be playing another Nibiru, but I only have one, and I didn't feel like crafting anymore. So, other options you can consider are infinite impermanence. Like I said earlier, with in terms of other engines, like you can consider the scrap engine. So it would be something like one golem, 3 raptor, a beast, and wyvern, wherever wyvern is. So that's an option to help get plays going. Phantom Knights, like I said, the only problem is like with those engines, I feel like I may not be building them properly, but I feel like their engines require a lot more cards than I'm comfortable cutting out. But I guess that is the benefit with the Orcust is that, or the Orcust core is that, if you want to do a minimal Orcust core, like all you would need is like probably just this. So you would only need like one skeleton, one harpor, one gear suit, 2 nightmare, and 1 wand for the monsters. And then like you may only need 1 return, you may not need it at all, Babel, and then just 1 crescendo. Like, so realistically that's like what, 10 cards? Like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 cards. So essentially you would just fill your deck up with whatever else you feel like you need. But I like running the Orcus at higher ratios just because it helps make sure that there are more situations where I can do the combo, or do the combo I want to do more consistently. But yeah, that's basically the deck. I don't think I would really make any other changes. I feel like Orcus is a deck that's kind of already solved. Like there are optimal builds, and it's just a matter of like maybe 1 or 2 cards that players prefer to play over others, or that maybe better in certain situations than others. But yeah, that's basically it. If there are any questions, you can post them in the comments, and I will try to answer them as best as I can. I don't claim to be the best Orcus player, but I did play a lot of Orcus in TCG, so I have some experience there, or more experience there than in Master Duel. But anyway, thanks for watching. I will see you next time.